welcome to 49 Unbeaten, the official ArsenalVavel podcast. This is episode 23, and we're here for an Arsenal versus Burnley match review. What do we say? It started so well. We got the early goal, and especially against a team like Burnley, who are hard to break down. Historically, we've struggled to break them down. To get an early goal, you think, right, great. We've broken them down early. We've got the advantage. We'll go and score 3 or 4 like we did against West Brom. And then from about minute 6 or 7, it just went to pot. I don't know. Let's start with the goal because it was a good team goal. Willian got another assist. Aubameyang scored, get his confidence up. It was bright. It was a good start. And with the team we picked, I was sceptical again. Do you think Chambers' first game since December 2019? Willian starts again. He's been in good form, but you'd rather see someone else in there. Saka, Odegaard. It was a real mixture of players. What did you make of the initial lineup? Because I was shocked to see Chambers playing. I don't know if you lot were as well. I know, Ben, we spoke about it on Thursday about what do we do with Chambers. It's not expecting him to play today.
It was, I didn't expect him to play, but I could definitely see the logic behind him playing. He's the tallest fullback we've got, quite simply. And Burnley are the most physical side in the league. It was. I think I said it at the start of the season as well. When people were talking about which game to drop Saliba into, and people were like, "Oh, is he going to start against Burnley?" And I thought, if he's going to start against Burnley, and the problem is his aerial dominance, then there's just serious questions to be asked. But I thought Chambers was all right. To be fair, didn't see anything wrong with it. It was unexpected, but it wasn't some one of those where I was like, oh. So I thought the lineup was perfectly good enough to get the job done. Quite frankly, it should have been good enough to get the job done.
It really should have. And bright start. Aubameyang's got another goal. I think he's top goal scorer. I think 13, 14 goals this season now. Another Willian assist, and we thought this would be. I mean, plain sailing. You'd expect with that team an early goal, almost knock the confidence out of them. And then I just don't know what happened. We didn't. It's not like we struggled to create chances. We got into almost the right positions, but again, it's that age-old question of early in the season of November time, that final ball almost.
Yeah, the thing is though, you just said the early goal. Thought, oh yeah, here we go. Look at this, the goal itself was fantastic. Start from the back, the Xhaka and the Partey link up, and that ball from Partey to Willian was brilliant. And then obviously the Aubameyang goal, and then after that, I thought, oh, it's gonna be a breeze now. And then we created those chances, missed. That Saka miss, and then I think who had the other chance? Was it Aubameyang had the other chance, didn't he?
He fell over.
Yeah. It was those 2 chances, and then I thought it's just going to come and bite us on the arse.
The Saka one was similar to the one he had against Wolves. Do you remember in the first minute?
Yeah.
When Partey played him in behind, and he just literally he cut across it and hit the post, and it was just literally that.
Saka had 2 chances today. Like you said, he had that one, and then he had the other one where Bang slotted him through, and you just thought, did you hit it first time? He took another touch, it was too heavy, cut it back for Odegaard, didn't really work. And then I've never liked Arsenal playing out from the back. You look back to the FA Cup run, and we did it against Man City, and I thought, God, like, give it away. You've got Sterling, De Bruyne, Aguero, like, anyone can hit you. We got away with it. We scored. Same thing against Chelsea. And then we did it, and we nearly paid for it. And sort of Leno got it away, or Tierney cleared it out and just punted it. And then that Burnley goal was just an absolute disaster class from start to finish. I don't know whether you can blame Arteta for coaching them to play defensively, play out from the back. But
I disagree completely.
Or do you sort of blame Xhaka for being? I mean, do you want to be an absolute idiot and just if you're going to play the pass, or just boot it out. You're in danger, and you cut it across the face of goal into a dangerous striker who all he has to do is stand there. He didn't even. It's not like the Eddie Nketiah goal against Saints last season. I think it was where there was a mistake, and then we got through, and it was up to Eddie to do it. It was literally just stand still. Any one of us, if we were Chris Wood, would have scored. And then you're just like, Oh God. And it's mistakes cost us, both from us and the officials. So
Josh, you just want to let it all out, mate. Do you want to just let it all out, mate? Just go for it.
In fairness, I will say I don't think obviously it's a terrible pass from Xhaka, but I just think it's terrible gamesmanship.
Yeah.
The 43 minutes into the game from Leno. Right. So Xhaka's coming to the ball, right? He's got 3 players around him. He can be calling for the ball all he wants. If I'm the goalie and I know there's 2 minutes left in the half, I can see there are 3 players on Xhaka. I'm not passing to Xhaka, no matter how good I think he is. He could be Lionel Messi in tight spaces. I'm not passing to him. But this is the problem, though. I think Arsenal. You see it a lot with Arteta literally dictating every pass. Arsenal are so very, very rigidly coached at the moment because we don't know how to play any other way at the moment. Every pass is, I must do this. I must look for this run. There's no individuality and there's no accountability, I don't think. I think if Leno puts that long, looking at, if you pull out the image from, I think BT did after the game, it's 3-on-3. Yeah. Like Burnley have gone man to man at the top. And then there's a load of space. If Aubameyang wins the knockdown, for example, not saying he will, but if he wins, there's so much space. I'm not saying he will, but I'm saying like it's so much more sensible to at times just to go long. You see, one of Manchester City's biggest assets is the ability Edison has to just play it 70 yards down the pitch and find someone. Like we don't have that, but we can just go long.
We started playing it long throughout the whole game, and then the point where we should be playing it long, we didn't. It's just typical, isn't it? It's just so typical.
I saw, Josh, I don't know if you remember when we I wasn't on the podcast, but when you did a podcast with Jake and the Burnley writer for The Athletic, you're talking about what are Arsenal doing at the moment because we're struggling to create chances, and you were saying like just crosses in the box is what we're doing, and then the Burnley writer from The Athletic was just saying Arsenal can do that all day they want. Tarkowski and Ben Mee will just header them out and out and out. And effectively, that's what they did because everything that went into the box, Aubameyang's not winning a header against some 6'7" guy. Like, they're genuinely giants. Tarkowski's massive. Like, their striker, Chris Wood, is an absolute monster. Like, he's huge. Like, as in... And like they're genuinely more like rugby players than football players. Like they play rugby football like Stoke used to play in the Premier League, and it's just like no other team does it like Burnley in the Premier League. And regarding the goal, the funny thing about the goal was my internet connection dropped out as the ball came to Xhaka and he passed it, and I was just like, he passed the ball. And literally, as it was about to hit Wood, my internet cut out. So I was like, no. Spent about 5 minutes working it out. And then it's like the halftime show, the BT Sport panel. And I'm like, what happened? Look at the score, 1-1. And see the goal back. I honestly wanted to just throw something at the TV because, like, it's so frustrating to concede like that when you work so hard, you create so many chances, and then we just can't finish them. Our problem this season has been not creating enough chances or not being able to finish the massive chances we create. And Saka just once again, for all the good he's done this season, has had 2 very important chances, which unfortunately he hasn't been able to finish. And I'm not putting any weight on his shoulders. He's a young lad. He's going to get better. But it's just 2 key moments. If he puts them away, it changes the game completely.
I don't know. In fairness, I think you can say everything from Arsenal has been a bit iffy this season. You know, defensively we've been, you know, we've got a good defensive record, but that's because we're not getting beat, you know, 3-1, 4-1. We're getting beat 1-0, 2-1, and it's just silly mistakes every time. Whether it be from David Luiz getting sucked out in the Wolves game, whether he has a penalty in record or not, it's irrelevant really. He made the decision. Whether it's, you know, Leno handballing outside his box, whether it's Xhaka doing that, whether it's Pepe getting sent off, you can point to all of these moments in games where we've either drawn or lost and look at them and gone, that literally is just so stupid. It's so brain dead. And I think another one today was, I just think for me, Leno has to go long there. If that's my goalie, I'm saying go long. Doesn't matter where I am, go long.
Can I just say that I think Leno was our best player today. He kept us in that game. Like the amount
that save. That save.
I'd say he was the man of the match because he kept us in that game. And I think we defended quite well as well. Apart from the chance Chris Wood had when the ball was put through to him and Leno made that save where Chris Wood should have scored that.
Yeah.
Because David Luiz got drawn out. But I think Marianne Luiz defended quite well today.
As you said, Dan, you said about obviously defending well and try and get down the wings to cross it into players in the box who we just know aren't going to win it. But when we tried to switch it up and go for the middle, we were so slow. We were so slow at building up. Like first 20 minutes where we had those chances, so quick. We moved the ball quickly in between the lines, creating those chances that weren't taken. But then as soon as the half went on, especially into the second half as well, after we conceded, we were so slow to break them down. And that's where we fouled in the second half, because we were so slow to move the ball around, to, build up a chance. Players like Xhaka in the midfield, obviously lost his, head dropped at half time. So, head down, stop starting, backwards and sideways. And those two, Partey and Xhaka, need to work well. Those two, they are probably the most important players in that side. Because our game plan is built from the back, create chances that way. If those two aren't performing together well, one of them's not on their game, like today, we're not going to create those chances and we're not going to break teams like Burnley down.
Partey was a bit disappointing today as well, I thought. I think Xhaka, apart from his moment, I don't think he played awfully, but I think Partey had quite a lot of misplaced passes and he had his moments, but I think by his high standards, he had a poor game today.
Yeah, I think he was still head and shoulders one of the better players on the pitch.
Yeah.
But I think it's certainly fair to say that he tired towards, especially in the second half. I think him being much more leggy was a huge issue when it came to us progressing the ball, because he just wasn't quite getting to the right places where he needed to be to progress the ball as quickly as he had in the first half. I think hopefully he plays 90 minutes against Olympiacos. Hopefully the 70, 75 minutes he got today will be enough.
Oh, I forgot we're playing Olympiacos. Oh no. We've got that
flying to Athens on Wednesday, is it?
Yeah, we've
Tuesday,
got
Wednesday?
Olympiacos.
That's to look forward to as well.
Olympiacos, West Ham, our next 4 games. Like you were saying, Burnley did it well. They knew what we wanted to do. That's why their pitch was in an atrocious condition. And I think something needs to be I don't want to say investigate Burnley for match fixing or dodginess, but you're a Premier League team. Your pitch shouldn't be that shit. No. I'm sorry, but
it was almost like you expected to find dog poo on the corner flag or something.
I played on the Sunday League pitch is better than that. But once we got the ball on the floor, and like Aubameyang, if you get the ball on the floor, you're going to beat Tarkowski and me 98% of the time, and that's what he did. He got it. He got past him and he drove his shot low. Pope should have saved it, but it was still a great goal. Like you said, we're not going to beat them aerially, and that's why our corner, Willian's corner, was useless, cleared straight away by Tarkowski, and it's just stuff like that, and it's knowing your opponent, and they're gonna press you. Chris Wood is gonna press you because he likes those tap-ins, and that's the sort of striker he's a poacher. So that game plan of clearing out, playing from the back and waiting right until they're there, and then trying to get it out, cost us today.
I think we still did enough to beat Burnley. Mikel Arteta, I don't think the tactics were awful. I think we still had the right players on the pitch and enough tactically that we should be beating Burnley. And if that moment doesn't happen from Xhaka, we're walking away from here saying 1-0 result. We've ground that out. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, we didn't. But tactically, it's just another one of those ones we need to move on. We should have had a penalty, yes. But at the end of the day, we should have finished our chances.
But also, let's be fair. All those people saying Arteta out for that result, it's a joke. It's a joke. Arteta got it right today. We created chances. We created good enough chances to win. The substitutions I thought were all right. And then when you ask, why is Arteta out? Oh, he picked the players, didn't he, that made the mistakes? Who are you going to pick in midfield if not Xhaka and Partey? You pick Ceballos, he makes 2 mistakes against Benfica. You pick El Neni, you lose any sort of progressive option.
Yeah.
He's only got those 4 midfielders, and Partey's been on one leg for most of the season. Let's be fair to the guy.
Yeah,
It was down to the players today, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was down to one error, really, from 2 players.
Yeah.
That's what cost us. I mean, you could say Saka should have finished better, but he's not a natural striker. Is it like he's not like? I'm saying he can be coached on that. He's still 19. He can be coached on his finishing. It's almost like a Theo Walcott sort of thing that he wants to score goals. He wants to be in those positions, but you need to coach that into him to be able to do it.
That's a great comparison. That might get cooked.
But he's a winger that has the ability to score goals and scores the occasional goal, but coach into that natural finishing into him, and he'll do a lot better. I mean, Arteta, you can't fault him for that. Like you said, tactics, not spot on, but he did the right things against the opponent. Team selection was the best it could have been if you were resting players, and substitutions made sense. It's not a Martinelli sort of game, really. Like, I would have loved to have seen him, but
the kid hasn't played football.
Yeah, you can understand why he hasn't come in. But so there's lots of things you could say. But the officiating in that game was absolutely dreadful.
Let's be fair. No matter how bad we played, we didn't get there was a get out of jail free card that we should have been given. Stonewall. If all I'm going to say on it is if Man United do that, that's a penalty.
I mean, it's so infuriating. 2 reasons. Not even just against us. The officiating that game was dreadful because the referee sent off Eric Peters
for a shoulder.
For the you would but it's not as if the arm was raised. It was a dreadful standard of officiating both ways. Burnley, I mean, Peters should never have been shown a red card anyway. I know it was reversed, but dreadful. And our penalty was the most blatant handball I've ever seen. You can't put your arm out like that, and he's palming the ball. It's ridiculous. And then you look back to last night of the Fulham game, the other night of the Fulham game. His line is done by his side, and he gets handball. It's disallowed.
That's going.
I want to scream and shout.
It's so infuriating.
He wasn't saying to scream. That's the point. If you say, "Look, we think you've made a mistake. We don't think it's handball," I think the Premier League said that it was too close to him to react, which is bollocks anyway. But send him to the screen if you think he's made an error. Let him go.
You should at least check it. You should at least check it. At least recommend to check it. The fact that he didn't even get him to go and have a look means that it's a whole new clear and obvious. If that's not the most clear and obvious penalty, then what is?
That decision is really, or in my mind now, I mean, it's not just the Arsenal game. It's throughout the whole season for every single side. It is so inconsistent. If you look in Europe, we are the only league who is having issues with VAR. We are generally. It's not. People need to remember this. It's not VAR. It's not the little screen or the technology we look at. It's the officials behind it.
Yeah,
there's still officials 100%. who need to learn how to use VAR. It's so inconsistent at the moment, and it's so frustrating for everyone.
Officials. It's also the rules, because some of these rules are absolutely stupid. David Luiz one, you have to intentionally play the ball. You get a yellow. No intention. You get sent off.
You know what's interesting? Saka made a challenge. Well, he didn't even make a challenge, but in that first half, the Burnley player had a kick at goal, and he kicked Saka's leg.
Yeah, that was the second half.
He's not made a chance to get. He's not made a attempt to play the ball. By the logic of the rule that David Luiz got sent off for and Bednarek gets sent off for, should that not be a penalty?
And a red card.
And a red card.
I'm loving watching Josh just crumble here. He's just in his seat.
I just can't make sense of it. And we're all football fans. We've all followed the game for so long. And usually you can sort of justify things, or you can sort of see okay, I understand. I don't agree with it, but I understand how they've come to that decision. I genuinely can't process it or compute it anymore. It's got to that point it's not football anymore.
this is where we need. I don't know. Like I put a tweet out the other day saying, if you watch other sports, you've got rugby, you've got cricket. These video assistant have mics and they have ability to communicate to the viewers what's going on. I think it's key to have in football. You've got the whole bad language situation and people don't treat the refs with as much respect in football as you could say in rugby. But I think we really need to implement something where refs have a mic on and they can explain their decision and you can hear the conversation between the video assistant and the ref, so then we can get some sort of clarity as to how they've come from that decision, so that can help the viewers and also can be transparent so we know that there's not anything funny going on, because let's be real, it could happen. We just need having that transparency, I think, is extremely important for viewers.
I don't buy the Arsenal conspiracy idea. Like it's nonsense, right? There's no conspiracy against certain clubs. But when you look back and review some of the decisions, it's not a conspiracy, but we can feel very hard done by. I don't know if you've seen it. There was a thread put on Twitter by the account ArsenalVavel, which we'll link in the description to this and we'll send a tweet out about it. You look at those, you're like, whoa, there's so many instances of clear decisions against us that really should have got our way. I mean, there's not enough time to go into all of them.
I can probably name 5 off the top of my head from last season and 5 from this season.
But
when mine goes back to the Crystal Palace game we played at home 2 seasons ago, I think it was.
Aaron Chambers
gets the ball, he gets absolutely clattered in the box. Socrates then smashes it home for us to go through. And the referee said, the VAR said that Chambers fouled someone in that instance. Josh is just having a complete meltdown.
In fairness, it isn't us. We are seeing it from an Arsenal perspective, but it's not just Arsenal. Let's be fair. Fulham were absolutely robbed a couple of nights ago against Spurs.
Twice in a row as well. You look at the West Ham one as well when Sojak got sent off for lifting his arm up.
and the offside for Timo Werner in the Liverpool game.
Yeah,
I'm sure he looked half a yard on every single still, apart from the one they used where he was off.
But I heard because even who's the referee on BT Sport? What's his name? Forgotten it.
Peter Walton.
He disagreed with the referee, and I don't know if I heard it wrong, but there's a new rule for handball coming in for next season. Right, and apparently the decision was based off of the new rule that is coming in next season. Not the rule that is being used now.
What? I didn't hear that.
I don't know if I heard it wrong, but I'm pretty sure that there's a new. Obviously, everyone knows there's so many new rules coming in next season, potentially with offside as well. But apparently, there's a new rule for handball, and Peter Walton said, if you were going off the new rule for next season, that wouldn't be handball. Apparently, because
but to be honest, it is.
What is handball now?
I know that's the thing. I'm so confused. In my mind, if I'm playing football, right, and I've got my arm out like that, the ball comes up, hits me in the area. I'm like, oh right, okay, fair enough. I instantly know that is a penalty. But
it's almost like playground rules. When you're at primary school, it's like, oh, it's ball to hand.
Yeah. Generally.
What might happen from next season? What might happen from next season is we see many less penalties. Yeah. I mean, it's going to happen. There's going to be hardly any penalties, and you'll only see penalties given with red cards because it will be when someone deliberately blocked the ball with their hand. Because in what other instance are you going to be giving a handball now? Because if this new rule is going to mean that players don't have to have their hands behind their back whilst they're defending and they can have that natural body shape, then, I mean, the amount of rules we've had this season, it's like it started off with if it hits above the short sleeve, below the short sleeve, it's a handball, we've heard. And now we've heard if it's in an unnatural body position, I mean, if that wasn't out from your unnatural, then I don't know.
Then someone calling a starfish. Someone's like, I don't know how Eric Peters has got away from pretending to be a starfish and hasn't conceded a penalty.
The biggest joke of it all, right, is 5 minutes later, the Burnley midfielder whacks in a Lacazette, who has his hands here like this, from about a yard out, and it gets given as a free kick. And I'm just like, how can you give that as a free kick and not give a penalty for what is it's here? It's him here.
Yeah, I know. He almost pats it down, doesn't he? He could have just patted it down and gone, oh no, that's not a penalty. It's all right. It's all right.
I mean, we have to say, on the other hand, you look at the Burnley one.
On the other hand,
Peters was sent off unfairly. We got a penalty given unfairly that got overturned. But again, he didn't go to the screen. And it's what's the point of having it if you're saying the referee still has control of the game completely, it's his decision, we're just advising. Why is every decision sort of big decisions? I don't mean like, oh, whose corner is it or something stupid, but every big moment referred to the screen. Because the screen's there for a reason. If you're going to sort of say, oh, we think this and you should, then don't have the screen, just get rid of it. Like
there was a period where they were using they were using the screen on a regular basis and it was working well.
Yeah.
Why stop using the screen if it's being used well? Generally,
guys, you can see
you stop using something.
Guys, you can see it already. We're going to get to the Europa League final, and we're going to probably play Spurs, and we're going to lose in the 95th minute because of a handball penalty in the box. And I think I can say in advance here, for the blood pressure and safety of Josh, we will not do a podcast episode until the next day, just so he can calm down a little bit first.
But there's no VAR in the Europa League, is there? We didn't have it in our Benfica game, I don't think.
Well, no, there is, but they literally take one glance at it and go, oh,
it's
right.
much more efficient than the Premier League one.
Yeah, it's quite lenient, isn't it?
So they don't spend about 5 minutes making a decision. It's either like they look at it straight away and then it'll be like, yes, no.
Honestly, the two Aubameyang goals scored against Benfica, I wouldn't be surprised if they were ruled off for offside in the Premier League. In the Premier League, honestly.
The handball thing grinds my gears even more because I'm sure, or I am 100% sure that had handball not been a huge issue and had they not changed the law literally yesterday for next season, that would have been given. It's because everybody on Twitter looked at the Fulham one and went, that is not handball. There is no way in hell that is a handball.
Yeah.
And then they've decided, like, I don't know whether it's subconscious because they've gone, oh, everyone's complaining about handballs. We better start being more lenient with handballs. But it always seems to be the way with us. Like we are we are the guinea pig for any excuse they run out. The David Luiz one, 2 hours later, Bednarik does the same thing,
and he gets overturned.
He gets sent off. You know, that's almost solidarity with the ref from earlier. And now it's like, oh, we've changed. I'm not surprised if they come out and say we've changed the handball to be more lenient now. Like it's ridiculous.
There's another 3 games today, so it'll be interesting to see if there's any more handballs. And
yeah, I mean,
I'm hoping there is. I hope there is.
Even be the biggest controversy of the weekend.
I hope other teams get shafted by VAR as well.
Every team gets shafted by VAR. It's so useless having incompetent referee backed up by an incompetent referee who doesn't know how to use the screen properly. Like they will have it the other way around as well. So, you know, Kevin Friend will be on the pitch and whoever was reffing today will be in the VAR box. And you think, oh, he's done me a solid once. I'm not going to show him up by getting him to change his mind. It's ridiculous that they have such incompetence at such a high level. And then for VAR, they don't use impartial people. It's astounding.
We need Villa to lose tonight, and don't we? But then even a Wolves win sort of...
Oh, mate, Europe's gone. Europe's gone.
Yeah, I
already hope.
It has like, I don't want to sort of blame every game, and we said this Ben on Thursday or Friday, whenever it was, when we did our tier list. Every game now is a must-win game.
Mm-hmm.
This is the game now. Like, I don't care about the Man City loss. This game feels now like our season's in the league is done.
In fairness, it felt the same after Wolves. It felt the same after Villa.
Yeah,
every single time it's like, oh, we've got, you know, we're only 6 points off. If we win this, we'll be in with a shout. We don't win it. And whether it's down to refereeing incompetence, which, you know, arguably cost us a point at Villa, 2 more today, all of a sudden we're straight back in the race. You know, even if you discount the Wolves one, which is by the by, really, you know, it's you don't want to sit here and blame the referees, but in teams where we aren't clinical and we aren't clearly good enough to beat them by 3 or 4 goals, it is these fine margins that end up costing us huge amounts, and they're fine margins that should be going our way and never seem to.
I mean, I don't know what is the cut-off point for Europe now, because you'd expect, like, we hope Man City beat them not in the cup final, because they don't even look like even will reach.
Mate, if they win a trophy, it'll be the most depressing season I think I've seen in as an Arsenal fan.
Let's say Man City win the Europa League, the Carabao Cup. Who does the Conference League place go to? I'm so confused with what the system is.
I think it's 7.
Is it 7?
Conference League.
I think it depends if you bring the American teams into it or not.
But honestly, it just hit me. We might not get into the Conference League.
I hope we don't. I don't want to play
I hope we don't, yeah. But either way, it's embarrassing. Either way, it's embarrassing, isn't it? If the next 2 games in the league, so West Ham and Spurs, if our season's over already. But if we have any shot at it, we need to get 6 points in both of them games. Well, no, sorry, for both games.
I don't think we are. If anything, West Ham's a tougher game.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah. I agree.
Harder game, but Spurs will be.
See us beating Spurs. I can't see us beating Spurs. I can't see us winning either of those games at the moment. The way we're playing, unless it's curtains. It's curtains for us. Like the season is.
Season's over. Yeah.
We're also a very mid-table side. The team is so mid-table.
My brother said that to me. My brother said that to me today. My brother was like, "Jack, you need to realise that we're actually a mid-table team now."
We're a massive club.
I felt like crying. I really did.
Mid-table side because when you look at the fall from grace we've had, we signed Mesut Ozil, who was a world-class attacker 7 years ago from Real Madrid. He was starting every game. Now we've loaned in a player who can't get a kick at Real Madrid. Yeah, sure, he's a great prospect. He's 22. We were selling when we were a big club. We were selling Fabregas, Nasri. These were at the time. These were Premier League leading players. How many players can you look in our side and go, they are one of the best in the league? I'd wager Aubameyang, maybe Saka, Tierney, and maybe Leno. That's what I go with. Party we haven't seen enough of yet.
I know we want to win the Europa League, but if we win that, because will we even qualify from our group? No, I'm being dead serious because if we win the Europa League, we get to the Champions League group stage.
Don't we go in second seed though? Or are we first?
First seed because we won a European.
Yeah, won Europa League. Yeah.
We can't even begin to talk about next season yet. You can't begin to talk about next season.
No. I'm saying hypothetically, like, is it even a good thing to win the Europa League to get knocked out fourth? Not even qualify for the Europa League.
Yes, because then if we win the Europa League, hopefully we then have the funds to go and buy ourselves some solid players for the next season.
It's money at the end of the day.
Yes, we still get drafted by VAR. Yes, we still get done over by so much, but at least we'd be there in the flesh to see it.
Did you see? I think Arsenal released today their finances. I saw something. Sacking Emery cost us over £10 million.
But our turnover's gone up because we release lots of nice kits. Our commercial income's great. We've made 47 million loss, but 30 million up on commercial.
Our partnership with Adidas.
We've got all the kits on.
Our partnership with Adidas has given us a lot of money.
We're mid-table and we're so fickle because they bring out a nice-looking shirt.
Generally.
That is so true. It's like I'm fed up with it. Like that November, December, I'm like fed up with the team. Like just not doing well. Like we need to change something. And then they released that shirt. I was like, oh, that's a nice shirt. I might think about buying it, but it's 80 quid.
100 quid for the pre-match jacket. Go on then.
Go on. Yeah, that's all right.
So at least we're laughing now. At least we can laugh.
If you don't laugh, you'll cry, won't you? So you might as well be one of the others. So
it's a poor result in the grand scheme of things, considering the way we started and played. Awful. But Europa League next Thursday, back in Greece for the first. Back in Greece, then we come back to London for Spurs, then go back to Greece for Olympiacos again, and then come back to London to play West Ham.
I've just realised we've got to preview and review all of those games.
Yes, so we will be back next week, probably Tuesday or Wednesday for our Olympiacos preview, back Friday for our Olympiacos review, Friday again for our Spurs preview. We've got loads of content coming. Hopefully we're in a better mood than we are after a 1-1 draw. Thanks to the useless officials in the Premier League against Burnley. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share on all of our channels. See you next time. Thank you and goodbye.
Happy plays Turf Moor.